Good morning, everybody. My name is Eddy Foster with Lone Star Mortgage. I'm here with the First Time Home Buyer Seminar with Super Inspector and Traci Nicodemus, and we just wanted to welcome you and get some questions answered for all the first time home buyers. So Traci, what is typically an excuse that you get from first time home buyers when it comes to buying a home?
I think probably the greatest excuse is they don't think they have enough money for the down payment, or maybe they don't have a good understanding of credit requirements. And I think that the biggest thing is just the unknown. I think people are very intimidated by what they don't know. So I think mostly the unknown is probably the greatest hindrance for a first-time home buyer in taking action. Okay, all right.
And then what obstacles do you seem to run into with first-time home buyers?
One of my favorite questions. One of the things that I think is the most challenging is that they go and get information from outside sources. We're in a time where people get online, begin to do their own research. They may be getting information from markets that the information doesn't apply to our market. Maybe they're getting processes that aren't really pertinent, or even the process that we're required to follow by law here. So I think probably the greatest obstacle is overcoming bad information. They talk to friends, family, get online. And so I think that's the first obstacle we have to overcome, is getting our first-time home buyers educated in the process, getting them some disclosure, what it really does take to get into a home buying situation as a first-time home buyer. And then just taking them through the process one by one and guiding and leading them through correct information.
Okay, well, that's certainly good advice. Well, in your experience, what are the main things that first-time home buyers need to prepare for when they're entering into the housing market?
So I think that the first step is getting with a real estate professional that you can get into a consultation. You don't know what you don't know. And so I think it's important to determine what the goals are as far as timelines, finances, even, helping someone determine their needs. If you're a first-time home buyer, you may not really understand what homeownership is about. And based on your lifestyle, there may be certain types of housing that are more conducive to your lifestyle than others. So I really think that the best way to prepare is to get yourself into a consultation, that you discover what your actual needs are, and couple those with your goals, that it turns into a great experience for you. After all, it is an investment. So I don't think we should ever make investments without getting good consultation.
Educated,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Now, what would you say the items are needed to prepare for first-time home buyers? What types of items would they need to prepare for it?
I think that they just need to call a real estate professional. I think sometimes when we try to gather things on our own, going off of checklists that we've obtained from outside sources sometimes, kind of skews the process. So I think that the first thing you need to come and be prepared with is an open mind, a willingness. Be ready to carve out some time, one, for planning, strategy, and then, of course, the exciting thing, going and looking at homes. So I think that it's just really a mental preparedness until you get with a real estate consultant.
Okay, all right.
Well, Eddy, I want to just take a moment or two and let's kind of go down the lender side of things.
Okay.
So what I would like to ask is, how hard is it for a first-time home buyer to actually get qualified for a purchase?
Well, first of all, I love first-time home buyers. They are so exciting to me to see the energy, the nervousness, the fear of the unknown. All of those things are such a pleasure for me after being in this business for 20-some years. That's probably one of my biggest joys. When it comes to first-time home buyers, I think really it's not that difficult at all. It's no different than anybody else. It's just the fear of them not knowing is really what it is. Sure. When they, as long as they've got a good job history, they keep track of their banking. They keep the money in the bank, and not underneath their mattress and things like that. And they just keep a steady lifestyle. then the first time home buying experience is going to be a piece of cake. It really is. It's not that difficult at all. And like I said, it's something that I enjoy more than anything else because they are afraid of the unknown, but there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Love it. So what are the typical issues you run into when people are coming to you as renters?
Well, I think the biggest issue with renters is when we run into a timing issue. Renters don't really understand a couple of different things. When you're paying rent, that is all encompassing. Sure. If they're paying $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 a month, that's it. And when you get into home ownership, a big thing for them is to not really understand about the taxes and the insurance and everything else that goes into it. However, then you get into the timing, and that's a big thing when they need to sit down with an agent. They need to sit down with the lender and understand when does their lease expire. Right. And, and they have to be able to incorporate whether or not they're going to have a buyout of their lease or time it right with their purchase to where it all coincides with them not having to make double payments or anything else, because that can drastically affect their income or really whatever they may have cash for closing, because then they have to make a double payment on their rent or something like that. So really the biggest issue that you run into with renters is really just timing. So it's very, very important that you sit down with a lender and make sure that the timing that we can relay to your agent that's out there getting you the home, that all of that coincides to make it as stress-free as possible.
Right. And I love that. So we talk a lot. You and I have done business together for about 20 years. One of the things that I think is also important is that when the lender and the agent work well together, I love it. We call it the GPS, the goals, plans, and strategies, that we don't have people making double payments, that we can actually sometimes make it where they skip a payment.
That is correct.
That they have a whole month that there's no rent or mortgage due. So it's really great when you get lenders and agents that work together and get that GPS for their buyers. So I love that. I want to ask you, in your experience with first-time home buyers, what do you think is the best advice that you could give them?
Well, the best advice I can give anybody that's getting into the home buying process, let alone first-time home buyers, is to sit down with a lender first. Yes. Make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row, that we can absolutely put all the pieces together that we can, and make sure that you are qualified, make sure that all of your questions get answered, and then we can turn you over to the agent that is going to assist you in the home buying process, and make sure that whatever it is on your financial side also fits the timing as you get into the home buying process. So really that's the best advice I can give you, is sit down with the lender as soon as you can to make sure that all of your ducks are in a row, per se.
Absolutely. And really that needs to probably happen a few months before you're even really ready to enter into the process. Is that true?
I would say definitely a couple of months before, because sometimes there's things that people don't really understand how they handle their own lifestyle as far as depositing money into the bank, right, or taking money out of the bank or whatever that may be, which could create a red flag in the underwriting process. So it's very, very important that as soon as you can, sit down with the lender, whether it's 6 months or 2 months or whatever it may be, for the lender to say, this could create an issue for underwriting, so let's start doing things this way. And the only way to know that or understand that is to get with your lender as soon as you can. Yes. And the sooner you get with them, the better off you're going to be, the better the experience is going to be through the process. And you know, guys, you really, really want to have that first-time home buying experience to be a joyous occasion, not something that is going to make you want to pull your hair out. So the sooner you can get with your lender, the better it's going to be.
So, Eddie, I know there are also first-time home buyer programs available that some help with down payment assistance. Can you just share a little bit on that?
Yeah, there are plenty of those that are out there, whether they're first responders, policemen, firemen, paramedics, teachers, all of those programs. There's a Seth program, T-Shack. Mm-hmm. These are programs in which if somebody really definitely needs help with the down payment, they will assist you. Sometimes 3%, 4%, or 5%, they will contribute or assist you in that down payment process. one of the problems that people don't really understand through the buying a home process is that there are also closing costs and prepaids. Now, prepaids are taxes and insurance that have to be brought to the table as well. So even though that you've got a down payment assistance program that's helping you with the down payment, there are still additional costs that's associated with the home buying process. Now, these down payment assistance programs, they are fantastic. However, sometimes the rate is a little bit accelerated because of the program itself. And they are fantastic programs, like I said. However, there are also other programs such as FHA that may allow different credits that would be given to you as well that may be as advantageous or more advantageous depending on your personal situation. So those are the programs that are there, and there's a lot of them out there that would be very helpful for many first-time home buyers.
Perfect. So if they wanted to get a hold of you to talk about the first-time homebuyer programs, maybe getting prepared along the way, what would be the best way for them to contact you, Eddy?
Well, you could definitely reach me at my office or my cell phone at 214-415-9406. That is a direct contact to me. I will answer my phone. That is always the best way to get a hold of me. And Traci, what about yourself? What would be the best way to contact you?
So, of course, you can reach me by cell phone as well. My cell is 469-671-7653. I take phone calls, text, or you can reach me by email, Traci, Tracin, @remax.net.